I'm cleaning right now, and I keep thinking about like this conversation that I keep trying to have about how cleanliness is like a tool of anti-blackness, and it's so pervasive that whenever I like try to bring it up, it like immediately snaps something into black people's minds where they just start to shame me, and it's like that's literally the thing I'm talking about. And it's like I really wish that I was like one of them smart niggas who could articulate like this particular like phenomenon, but it's not that I'm saying like, oh, let me just be a dirty little fucker. I'm saying that like the reaction that certain people in the black and white communities, because it is like a white supremacy thing, and it's like a certain type, right? Half to things being dirty is like extreme. Like when I'm like, saying like, hey, I'm disabled and it just takes me a little bit longer to clean my space, but I do it and it works for me. And I don't have to worry about like any kind of like fucked upness, really. Like, in my past, I was like so mentally ill. I was like low key hoarding, and like I had like a vermin infestation at one point. Um, and it's interesting too because I've grown through it. I've learned how to like properly dispose of food a long time ago, so it doesn't get to that point ever, right? Even when I'm at my messiest, it's usually just clutter. But it's like even the relationship to clutter, it's wild. And like this idea that cleanliness is next to godliness is like, one, I fuck Lucifer regularly, right? Like, so chill. Like, I don't care about being next to godliness at all. I am my own God type shit. It's like you gotta pick one. Are the voices in my head and it's all me, then I am God. If I am channeling, I don't know, they work through me. I don't know. I just like I understand the importance of keeping a clean space, but it's like this something else that takes over, and the way that it's like used to like ridicule in other people is not normal. It's not like, oh hey dude, you probably could you know, clean up your place a little bit more. It's like, you need to declutter. It's like, bitch, chill. I have a system, and it's weird. And I've like tried to explain it too around like personal hygiene habits. Like, it's one of those things too where I've like, dealt with my mental illness, and parts of depression make it harder to maintain hygiene. So I've come up with like certain tips and tricks so I don't stink, so I don't get sick, stuff like that. But they don't want to hear it. They're like, oh, I shower twice a day. And it's like, you don't need to shower that much. You really don't. Like, in terms of your health. And then it becomes like this point of like, almost like a hierarchy. Like, you can tell like sometimes like black people get into like a band for band thing about like how often they clean their shit, and it's like, why is that a thing? Like, who the fuck cares? And it's like, black people care about that shit a lot, and I'm just trying to understand it. And I know like in Africa there were like very highly developed cleaning systems, and white culture, they were just doing whatever the fuck. So it's like kind of confusing to me. Is it like a white supremacist thing? Is it like a black supremacist thing? What is that? Like, I just want to know what it is. I like don't really want to shame it too much. I just want to draw attention to it because it's like I'm always a victim of that shit, and I don't know why. Because I always smell nice, and when I have people over, my house is very clean. My house is very clean. It's sometimes I realize it got harder for me to maintain my space because I was so isolated for a while. I was like, what's the point? Now I see the point of like cleaning for myself, and it's important. But like, it's like even saying like like my arm was heavily disabled, and like I was mentally disabled, and like it's like clean enough because I had been cleaning on a regular basis before. It's like it's not enough for some people, and I'm like, I don't know, and it's weird because it's like this like lack of adoption to that mindset is like one for ridicule, and it's like I can't succumb to that just because of the way that like I am, right? Like it's one of those things where it's like people will ridicule, but they won't like actively help. I think it's also further complicated by the fact that like culturally in the indigenous practice of my ancestors, a lot of holiness involved like covering yourself with like mud and like feces and blood and shit. Like so like I am honestly much closer to God when I got a little bit of grime on me. And so it's like I don't know. Maybe it's more of like the Molly Dongan side of like my culture and like the like um I feel like the Pacific Islander side too, but like it just it doesn't I don't have that same click. It might be like I don't know, something that's a little bit more Yoruba and like even though like my ancestry reads from that real heavy, it's almost like I'm just not clicked into that side when it comes to my spiritual practice. Hardly. Like I do, some of the Yoruba deities do help me out, but like in terms of like Ifa and divination, I felt like a really big like wall over those kinds of practices, like beyond what I've kind of learned to initiate me into magic in general.